Right now, your phone is having a quiet conversation with the cell tower nearest you. It's proving who you are dozens of times an hour without you ever noticing. But here's the tension at the heart of every mobile network. The network needs to know exactly who you are to bill you and route your calls. And at the very same time, it has to make sure nobody eavesdropping on the radio waves can figure out who you are. Those two goals seem to fight each other. So, how does 5G pull off both? The answer is a system of identifiers, some permanent, some temporary, each doing a very specific job. Over the next few minutes, we're going to open up that system piece by piece. The permanent ID that's uniquely yours, the disguise it wears in public, and the throwaway nicknames the network hands out so that even that disguise doesn't have to be shown very often. By the end, you'll understand exactly how a modern phone stays reachable and stays private at the same time. Let's start with the identifier everything else protects, the SUPI, short for Subscription Permanent Identifier. Think of it like a social security number for your phone subscription. One code, permanently tied to you, that never changes for the life of that account. It's stored at the network's core in a database called the UDM, and every single subscriber gets exactly one. Here's what's actually inside a SUPI. Take the example 310-150-123456789. The first three digits, 310, are the mobile country code. That's the United States. The next digits, 150, are the mobile network code. That identifies the specific carrier, in this case AT&T Mobility. And the remaining 9 to 10 digits, the MSIN, are your personal subscriber number within that carrier. So a SUPI isn't random. It's a country code plus a carrier code plus you. 3 layers, 1 identity. And because it contains real sensitive information about who you're subscribed with, this number is exactly what an attacker would love to intercept, which is precisely why the network refuses to send it over the air in plain sight. So why can't the SUPI just travel over the airwaves as is? Radio signals are public. Anyone with the right equipment nearby can listen in on the frequencies your phone uses to talk to a cell tower. If your permanent SUPI went out in clear text every time you connected, then anyone eavesdropping could track your exact phone, tie it to your carrier, and potentially your identity, just by sitting near a tower with a radio scanner. Earlier mobile generations actually had exactly this weakness, and it's one of the reasons why so-called fake cell towers could quietly track people. 5G was built specifically to close that gap. The rule the standard lays down is blunt. The SUPI should not be transferred in clear text over the 5G radio access network. But, and this is the clever part, the network still needs enough information to route your connection to the right carrier, even before it knows exactly who you are. So the real design problem isn't just hide everything. It's hide the sensitive part, but keep just enough visible to still get the message delivered. That balancing act is exactly what the next identifier was built to solve. Enter the SUCI, the Subscription Concealed Identifier. Think of it as the SUPI wearing a disguise built specifically for the trip across open radio waves. Here's how the disguise is made. Your phone's SIM already has a public key baked in during manufacturing, securely provisioned by your home network. Using that public key and an encryption process called a protection scheme, the phone encrypts the sensitive part of the SUPI, your actual subscriber number, before ever transmitting it. Nobody listening on the radio link can reverse that encryption without the matching private key, which only your home network holds. But here's the crucial twist, and it's the part most people get wrong. The SUPI does not hide everything. The mobile country code and mobile network code, the routing information, stay in the clear, completely unencrypted. Picture mailing a locked box. Inside the box is your name and your account details, totally unreadable to anyone who intercepts it. But the shipping label on the outside, the country and the carrier, is still visible because the postal system needs that just to know which building to deliver the box to. That's exactly the trade-off SUCI makes. Encrypt what's sensitive, expose only what's needed to route the package. So the locked box arrives at the carrier's network. Now what? Somebody has to open it. That job belongs to a specific function called the SID-FD, the Subscription Identifier Deconcealing Function. It lives inside the ARPF and UDM at your home network, the same place that originally issued your SUPI and handed out that public key in the first place. Because only the home network holds the matching private key, only the home network can actually reverse the encryption and recover your original SUPI. The visiting network you're roaming on, the radio tower you connected through, none of them can peek inside. They just forward the locked box along using the visible country and carrier code. Once the SIDF deconceals the SUPI back into your real SUPI, the network finally knows exactly who you are, and it can look up your subscription, your services, your billing, everything tied to that permanent identity. So the full loop looks like this. SUPI gets encrypted into SUCI at your phone. SUCI travels safely over the air and through any visited network, and SUCI gets deconcealed back into SUPI only at the one place authorized to do it, your own home network. Now, encrypting your permanent ID solves one problem, but there's another one. Even a SUCI sent over and over could still act like a repeated fingerprint that lets someone follow your phone around a city. The 5G system's answer is to almost never send anything tied to your permanent identity at all, day to day. Instead, once you're connected, the network hands your phone a temporary alias called the 5G GUTI, the globally unique temporary identifier. Think of it like a visitor badge at a secure office building. When you walk in, security doesn't keep announcing your social security number every time you move between floors. They give you a badge with a temporary code on it. That badge is what gets checked at each door. The 5G GUTI works the same way, and it's allocated by a network function called the AMF, the Access and Mobility Management Function, the part of the network responsible for tracking where your phone currently is. Inside a 5G GUTI, you'll find a GUAMI, which itself breaks down into the country and carrier codes, plus an AMF region ID, an AMF set ID, and an AMF pointer. Together, these pinpoint exactly which AMF, out of potentially thousands across a country, is currently serving your phone. And crucially, this badge works whether you're connecting over ordinary cellular radio or over Wi-Fi style non-3GPP access, and the network can quietly swap it out for a fresh one whenever it wants, so it never becomes a stable fingerprint. Now here's a practical problem. The full 5G-GUTI is fairly long, and radio signaling channels are precious. Every extra bit you transmit costs battery and airtime, multiplied across millions of devices. So for the everyday high-frequency stuff, paging your phone when a call comes in or a quick service request, the network uses an even shorter nickname, the 5G-TMSI, the 5G Temporary Mobile Subscriber Identity. Picture it like this. Your visitor badge has your full name and department printed on it, but for a quick tap at an internal door, the scanner just reads a short internal code stamped on the badge. Faster to read, faster to process. That's the 5G-TMSI. It's generated by the AMF at the very same moment it creates your 5G-GUTI, and it uniquely identifies your device within that specific AMF across every 5G-GUTI that AMF has ever handed out. So the relationship is simple. 5G-GUTI is the full temporary badge, globally unique and tied to a specific serving AMF. 5G-TMSI is the short version stamped on that same badge, built for speed in exactly the signaling moments where speed matters most, like when your phone is being paged for an incoming call and the network needs to reach you fast without dragging your entire identity across the air. So far, every identifier we've covered is about you, the subscriber, and your subscription. But 5G also keeps a separate ID for the physical device itself, regardless of who's using it. That's the PEI, the Permanent Equipment Identifier. Here's the distinction that matters. Your SUP identifies your account. Swap SIM cards into a new phone, and your SUP comes with you. The PEI identifies the hardware, the actual handset, and it stays with that device even if you pop in a different SIM. If your phone supports ordinary cellular access, the standard requires that its PEI be in the IMEI format, the same 15-digit serial number engineers and phone thieves alike have used for decades to identify a specific handset. So while SUP and its disguise SUCI answer who is the customer, the PEI answers a completely different question. Which physical piece of hardware is this? Two identities tracked separately for two very different purposes. Let's put the whole system back together. Your subscription has one permanent identity, the SUPI, country code, carrier code, and your subscriber number sitting safely in your home network's database. Because that identity is sensitive, it never travels over the radio in the open. Instead, your phone encrypts it into a SUCI, a locked box with a visible shipping label, and only your home network's SIDF holds the key to open it back up. Once you're connected, the network stops using that identity almost entirely. It hands your phone a temporary badge, the 5G GUTI, and for quick everyday signaling, an even shorter version of that badge, the 5G TMSI, both of which can be swapped out at any time so they never become a lasting fingerprint. And running alongside all of that, a separate identifier, the PEI, keeps track of the physical device itself. Put together, this is the real trick behind modern mobile privacy. It's not one wall protecting everything, it's a whole rotation of disguises and temporary badges, so that the one identity that truly matters, the permanent one, almost never has to show its face.